Hi, everyone. Welcome to the live demonstration of Tennessee's new unemployment tax system. I'm Patrice Kendrick. I'm the Director of Communications for the Department of Labor and Workforce Development. Today, we will walk you through the final phase of the modernization of Tennessee's unemployment system. It goes live in 20 days. If you're having trouble hearing us, we will post a recording of this webinar on tn.gov/workforce by the end of the day on Friday. I'll say that again later, and surely some of my colleagues will add that to the chat here. And you can watch it again later if you can't hear. We're going to hold another webinar once the new system goes live, and you'll receive another invitation for that webinar. A few things to keep in mind. Because of the size of the audience, your microphones are muted. You can send your questions through the chat. We have a team that will answer as many questions as possible during the demonstration. Then at the end, we will discuss the most common questions. Jennifer Eads with our partner, Fast Enterprises, will walk us through today's live demonstration. I'll turn it over to Jennifer now.
Hello, testing for sound. Can you hear me? Great. We'll go ahead and get started. I'm going to share my screen. Thank you, Patrice. Today, we will be demonstrating functionality that will be live starting May 27th. This will include how to manage your clients, submit a client rate exchange request, and file a wage report with an ISESA file. As many of you probably know, this site provides information for individuals looking to file a claim. The Jobs for TN site provides information for individuals looking to file a claim, find a job, obtain job skills, and many other job-related services. It also provides information and tools for employers, including industry data, posting job openings, finding job applicants, and responding to claim notices. On May 27th, unemployment insurance tax functionality will be incorporated into employer e-services on Jobs for TN. We are here to demonstrate some of the new functionality for TPAs and PEOs that features self-service, paperless account registration for clients, the ability to locate and manage all client accounts from one central portal for UI benefits and/or tax, and a more integrated way to bulk file wage reports for multiple counts. From here, to access the employer e-services account, you would click this hyperlink below the employers panel. A couple of notes before we start. We will be doing our demonstration in a testing environment, so the run date here, October 5th, 2027, will display a future date to reflect a date that is after the new functionality is in place and accommodates some data build elements. In addition, all of the data that you will see is fictitious, and any semblance to actual employers is purely coincidental. With that, we're going to start the demonstration. Now, we are looking at the Employer e-Services landing page that will display starting May 27th. For those of you who have previously visited Employer e-Services, you may notice that there will be more panels on the homepage to incorporate the new employer tax functionality. The first panel is for new employers, TPAs and PEOs that have not yet registered with the Jobs for TN. This process also includes creating a logon for access to an online account. The next panel is for employers, TPAs, and PEOs that are already registered with the Jobs for TN and have utilized 10PAWS or TPU to file wage reports, but do not have an online account with Employer e-Services. On May 27th, you will click here to sign up for access to your employer tax account. We will demo this. In a moment. Information about wage reporting file formats will be found on this panel, since wage reporting will now be in Employer e-Services. This panel below allows employers and employees to respond to the listed information requests by clicking the respective link and entering an access code. Some additional resources for employers can be found here. And the last panel is to report UI fraud or tax fraud to the department. Starting May 27th, existing Employer e-Services users with a full online account access will be able to log in with using their existing credentials on the login panel and see their UA tax account information related to their TPA activities. Now we will show how an existing Jobs for TN user will register for a web logon to access their UI tax accounts on or after May 27th. As stated on this page, an existing Jobs for TN user or user with the department without access to online services will need to have their FEIN or SSN that was previously used to register with, along with a letter ID from any letter received from the Tennessee Department of Labor's Unemployment Insurance Benefit Agency. Any letters received from the agency, Unemployment Insurance Benefits Agency, within the last year may be used for the letter ID mentioned here to complete the web logon registration. The letter ID is associated in the top right of the letter and begins with the letter L. If you have not received a letter from the Tennessee Department of Labor's Unemployment Insurance Benefits Agency in the past year, you will need to request an access letter by clicking the Request Letter button below. The requested access letter will be delivered to your mailing address on file within the current system within 3 to 4 business days. For the purposes of this demo, I will be using someone who has previously received a letter from the Tennessee Department of Labor's UI Benefits Agency. With that, we can click Next and fill in the necessary information. We will be entering the FEIN here. However, if the business was registered with an SSN instead of the FEIN, you would check this box here. Then we will enter in the letter ID here. You will notice that it has an L here, which is showing in the required note here for the format. Then we will click the Next button. Here you will create your account. First, you will enter your email. This will be also your login information. You will need to verify your email with this step, so make sure you have access to it while you're doing this process. Since we are in a demonstration environment, we are going to click the populate button here, and it'll auto-populate a verification code. However, you will be entering your verification code received in your email here in this field. If by chance you did not receive your verification code to the email that you used, you can click the resend link here. If the email you realize is not the correct one, you can click here to use a different email. Once you've entered the verification code sent to your email, you can click Confirm. Then you will select a password. Please note the password requirements below. They must be at least 8 characters in length, contain both uppercase and lowercase letters, use letters and numbers, and contain at least one special character. If at any point you want to confirm the password that you have selected, you can click the I icon and see the password that you have typed. Then you will select a password recovery secret question. You can select from any of the predetermined or the populated questions here, or you can write your own question. Once you have done that, you enter your secret answer, confirm your secret answer, and click the next button. Then you can enter the contact information here. Then you select your communication preferences here. I'm going to leave this selected because I only want to receive electronic communications. But if you choose to have communications sent to you by mail and electronically, you would select here. Click the Submit button. And now you have confirmation that your request has been submitted successfully. There is a confirmation number you can take note of in case you want to ask questions about this later. Now we can click the OK button. Now we are in the Employer e-Services page for Ringo Starr that we've just created. He has immediate access to his account, and this is where we are. Since he's a new employer, we're going to log out of his account and log into one that has more information so you can see what the Employer e-Services will look like starting May 27th. We are going to log into Tina's account. Since she has access to many accounts, they are going to be listed here when she first logs in. These are all of the accounts that she has access to as a third-party administrator. If she only wants to see her favorites or the ones that she works with most frequently, she would click here. And then you notice that she has only three accounts here instead of the many that she has on the All tab. At any point, you can add or remove favorites from each list. The Recent tab just shows accounts that you've worked with recently, and the Action Center displays any unread letters and actions that need to be completed, such as the fact-finding questionnaire. Many key actions can be accessed by clicking the Accountant Center link in the upper right-hand corner. Here, TPAs will be able to send and receive secure messages to and from the agencies. Messages are a great way to communicate with a department if you have a question and don't need to speak to someone right away. TPAs will also be able to complete and submit bulk requests for one or more clients, including bulk filing, which I will demonstrate next. You'll notice here on the Payment and Wage Reports panel, there is a link to be able to file an ICESA wage report. Tina is going to upload an ICESA file. We are going to demonstrate with both a file that cannot be submitted due to errors as well as a file that can. First, we will look at a file that cannot be sent due to the errors in the file. Here you will notice that there is a message that displays below the upload function that says there are errors identified from the file that was uploaded and that they need to be resolved in order to move forward with the bulk filing of these wage reports. It provides the line number as well as a brief message on what the errors are. Once you have made the corrections to the file, you can go ahead and resubmit it. I will show you how it will look when you do submit a file that is accepted. Here, you notice that the error banner is gone, but it does point out that there are warnings on this file. It provides the related EAN, the quarter, the line number, and the message. It is important to take a look at the error messages that are here and correct them prior to filing your ISESA file. Once you have done that, you can click Next. Here, you will see all the information that was imported from the file. You have the employers, and you have their account number, the quarter, the total wages, the excess wages, and the taxable wages. Once you have confirmed the information that's being submitted, you can confirm the submission here by entering the password here to submit the file. And then you can click Submit. This is your confirmation. It tells you that your ISESA bulk upload has been submitted successfully, and it provides you with a confirmation number. Please make note of this confirmation number in case you have any questions about your submission in the future. It also provides some other information regarding the filing that you have just completed. Once you have done that, you can click OK. Please note that it will take a business night for our automated processes to run in order to process and post the data on the respective accounts and e-services. If you want to confirm that another way to confirm that your ISESA file was submitted, you can click the Search Submissions link here. As you can see, on October 5th, which is the date that our run date is set to, we have a note that the ISESA file upload is here. And it gives you a brief overview of what it is that you filed. Another feature that we wanted to showcase on the Accountant Center is the ability to be able to register a client. You can register a brand new business here with the Registered Client UI Tax account. This is very similar to the registration process. You can also manage your existing clients by clicking here. You will be presented with a list of current clients and the ability to be able to edit them as you need to. You can notice that they have both tax access and benefits access. Let's say that we are no longer working with this employer. We can go ahead and click Remove Client here, and then he will be removed from the list. In addition, if we have a new client that has already been registered, we can add them here, whether they're an employer or a PEO. You can click here and search for the client. I'm going to start with the beginning of the business name here and do a search. B-Rise Spud Stand is who I want to add. I will click that, do OK. I can determine here if I want this to have benefits access or tax access or both. Then I can choose to enter either the FEIN or the Social Security number. I've chosen the FEIN that I will add. I will also enter the employer account number here and click the Add button. Now you'll notice that B-Rise Spud Stand is listed as a new client. I have selected tax access and benefits access. Now I will click Next. It provides a summary page here that shows that you have added one client and you have removed a client. Once you are satisfied with that, you can click Submit. At any time you want to go back and see some information that you have submitted, you can simply click on any one of the breadcrumb trails on the top to revisit that information. Now we will click Submit. As with many other confirmation pages, you will note that there is a confirmation number for this submission. You may note it so that way if you have any questions regarding this submission, that you can call and reference that. then click OK. And one of the other requests we would like to showcase is the client rate exchange request. That can be found again in the Accountant Center on the Client Information panel by clicking the Client Rate Exchange hyperlink. Some really good news about the client rate exchange request. Starting May 27th, you are no longer required to send an input file to the department. In order to do this, it is simply a request on eServices that generates an output file. The first thing you need to do is select the effective date range of the tax rate to be included in the rate exchange. Then you click Submit. Here's another confirmation number to note in case you have any questions in the future about your submission. Go ahead and click OK. Then, on the Action Center tab, you click this, and if you scroll down, you can see that you have an unread message. If you view the message, you will see that there is a subject called Client Rate Exchange with today's date that you can click on. Click on that, and you will be able to see the attachment with the rate exchange information that you just requested. Can you guys see that? Okay. And this is what you will receive. God, I can't. Now we're going to go back to the home page. Some neat functions that are helpful for support while in eService includes Rocky, our digital assistant. He is here on the right-hand side of the page. At any time that you have a question or need more information about something, you can click on Rocky and ask him a question. For example, if you want information on ISESA files, you spell it correctly, click Enter, and it'll retrieve information about ISESA wage reports. There is also the support ID. Simply click on the question mark to view the support menu and request the support ID. This ID is very useful when you're on the phone with a representative about a question on how to do something in eServices. Providing them with a support ID allows the staff to view where you are at in eServices and guide you through your session. Please note that while staff will be able to view your session, they will not be able to perform actions in your logged in session. Once you click yes, then your support ID is given to you, which is this number right here. That is the end of our demo. Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer. At this time, we want to make sure we can take your questions. I know throughout this demo, you all have been adding questions to the chat. So what our team now will do will be to collect some of the common questions, and we'll try to discuss them here. So now's the time, if you hadn't added your question, to go ahead and enter that into the chat. We'll give you a few moments. When you're ready, please introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Jacob. Can everybody hear me? Excellent. So I just wanted to recap on one piece from the beginning of the demo concerning creating your weblog. If you haven't created a weblog already for employee services, when you do so, right now you will be asked to provide your TMPAWS access code. When you go to do so after May 27th, when we roll out, you'll be asked to provide a letter ID. Letter IDs are located on the top right corner of any letter received from the agency within the past year. If you do not have such a letter, you may request one through that weblog request that Jen demoed earlier.
Hello, everyone. I know a lot of you probably recognize my name. This is my face that goes with it. I'm Eric Lapa. I was just going to explain the managed clients part of it. Basically, every TPA that will create their web logon, there's always one master logon, and then that master can create all sorts of secondary logons and create customer groups and different things like that. But under the Accountant Center, you basically will click on the Manage Clients link, and from there, you will basically add in, search for the employer by either their name, EIN or EAN, and basically pull them up. Once you find them, you can add what kind of access you need to them, whether it's benefits or tax, which most of you guys will be tax access. And at that point, you'll go click submit. And once you're done with the whole web request, you basically log out and log back into the system, and you have instant access to their account. There's no approval needed from the employer. They do get a message saying that you've been granted access to their account, and if they want to change that, they can, but you will have instant access to any clients. One other thing to notice is anybody that is in our current tax system linked to your guys' POA or TPA accounts will be converted over, so you will not have to add anybody that is currently linked. The only thing I will stress on that is the first time you log in, because there are a lot of accounts that will be getting linked to you, you will not see them on the screen the first time when you create your web logon. Basically, it will be an overnight job that will run. Then the second time when you log in, you should have access to all the clients that you have current access to. For all those asking about a POA number that are trying to register now, I highly recommend waiting till May 27th. POA numbers are internal numbers, and we do have them for most TPAs. The only problem is because a lot of you guys are tax TPAs, your accounts were not converted into the current benefit system. So even if we give you your POA number, you may not be able to register with it because the system will not recognize it. We suggest just waiting until May 27th. At that point, you will just log in with your EIN and that letter ID that you can request through the system. Me again, I'm going to talk about having multiple account access under one login. Basically, if you're an employer or TPA, however you want to handle it, and you're not using the managed client links as a TPA, but say I'm an employer and I have multiple businesses that I own, there is a request in the system that will allow you basically under that one login to just request access to those other accounts. And once you do that, that access is granted and those accounts will show up under your login. You'll have access to all of them through that login. If you're currently in the system, there is a current functionality for that request already, but it's slightly changing with the new system rollout. So just depending on if you go in now or then, it might be called something slightly different, but you can have access to multiple accounts owned by the same person under one login. To address secondary logons, basically once the master logon is created under the More tab, I think, or it's under Manage My Profile. I can't remember off the top of my head. But basically, you'll go into the panel that's for secondary logons, and that master logon will basically create the logons for the other people. You'll basically enter in their email address, name, and everything, and then an email will be sent to that person to complete their registration, basically creating their password. And at that point, you will also grant them what kind of access you want them to have to the system. I would just recommend giving most people administrator access, because then those people can also assign additional logons. If you give out account manager access, those people are only allowed to manage on accounts and not do some of the other functionality. There are such things as customer groups in the system that you can create. Say I have 5 people that work for me. Each person handles 10 accounts. I can basically create a group for each set of accounts and assign that account to a certain person, and those are the only accounts that representative or worker can see. They can't see all the other accounts. That's all functionality within the system. We did do the employer webinar earlier this morning, and we will post that on Friday to the website so people can view the employer webinar as well as the TPA one once they are both posted. I did see a question about if you register someone through your TPA login. Yes, if you register someone through your TPA login, you get instant access to that account once you log out and log back in. You don't have to complete the manage client access to gain access to them. If you do their registration through your logon, you will have that account automatically assigned to you. The webinars will post to the tn.gov/workforce website. PEOs will be handled slightly different in this system. Every PEO itself will be a customer in the system under its EIN, but if they do have Tennessee employees, they will also get a client account number. You will have links to all your client account numbers and you will be able to see them as a PEO. They're just going to look slightly different, which is just the way we set them up in this system. Paper registrations are going away. PEOs will register clients just through their PEO registration, through their logon. They'll have the same thing that a TPA will have where you can register clients through it and you will get a client account assigned to them. For employers that are on this call, I see some of you asking if you need to call your TPA. Most TPAs should know about this. ADP may be on this call and might be hearing this as well. So just, you may not have to hold on to that. You can reach out to them and let them know about it, but they are probably aware of it. PEO registration and webinar would be just the same as this TPA. There's not much difference between a TPA logon and a PEO registration. So what was just demoed for TPAs is basically the exact same demo for a PEO. It's just called a PEO registration instead of a TPA registration.
To reiterate again as well about the letter ID, right now, if you try to complete an employee services registration, it's going to ask you for your 10-PAWS access code or your POA number. After May 27th, with the tax rollout, is when you'll be able to access that link to request a letter ID if you do not have one already.
The letters from the department that you would have received currently have to be from our current employer or from our current benefit system, which is the Jobs for Tennessee system. Those ones will have the client letter in the corner. If you've just received letters from our normal tax unit, those are different letters and not from this system yet, so they will not have letter IDs on them. Yes, as a client comes on board with a PEO will still continue to register that employee to get an account number under their PEO. And you would manage just that account, and then if they happen to leave, you would close that account for them. QuickBooks, like I said in a chat earlier, is its own thing. QuickBooks depends on how you are set up with them. Some QuickBooks filers are set up with them to where they automatically go into QuickBooks bulk filing that is taken care of by the company that owns QuickBooks. If you're not, you may have to manually file the reports in our system. I can't answer which way you're set up with QuickBooks to determine that. As far as info from 10PAWS, any reports filed that have been filed for the past 6 years will be in the system to see as being converted over. So you don't have to worry about now 10PAWS registration and logons will not work, but anything that was filed in there, you will see reports and all that is converted over.
Okay. Thank you all very much for taking time out of your day to attend and get a sneak peek at Tennessee's new UI tax system. We're excited about the system's debut on May 27th and know you will enjoy the new modern way of doing business with the department. Again, we'll post a webinar on tn.gov/workforce by the end of the day on Friday. And look for the invitation to join the webinar when the system goes live in 3 weeks. Thanks, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day.